I have to lower the windows for this to soak up the air of this coffee estate. It's amazing how a mere 5.5 hour drive and you're in a different world altogether.
We were the first plantation homestay in India because we had the 400 acres around us. It's built on a gulmohar tree.
It's almost like it's holding it. Well, and this is going to be home for the next 3 nights for me at Tranquil. We've had some showers on and off here in Wayanad, and that's really helped cool things down. It isn't pouring incessantly, just those odd showers for about 15-20 minutes or so. It's fascinating how just 24 hours ago we were on the highway with traffic around us, passing through towns, the din, the noise. And as I sit here, just the very next morning, all that I hear is the pitter-patter of the rain, a big drop that sometimes hits a leaf with a soft thud. We were doing 90 kilometers per hour yesterday, but here, Tranquil Resorts, true to its name, forces you to slow down, to be silent, to be at peace. This is going to be an interesting morning here at Kuppamudi Estate in Wayanad. I hope you've caught our previous vlog on this 400-acre plantation here in Kerala. If you haven't, I'm going to link it in the description below, but do take a look to come up to speed on our experience here in this beautiful verdant haven. So the agenda for this morning is to take a look at the beekeeping that happens here in the estate and also hopefully extract some honey for breakfast. I've never done this before and I'm hoping that I don't get stung. And to ensure this, we are meeting just the right person this morning, Mr. Josen, who's an expert beekeeper, I'm told. So Ajay, how does beekeeping fit into a plantation?
With these major changes in climate, especially rainfall, changes in temperatures where it's getting hotter, a lot of our natural pollinators, the natural bees that were here, are disappearing. Now some of the pollination happens by wind, but the bulk of the pollination also happens with insects, with bees especially. One of the things that we looked at was to introduce bees. It initially started as an experiment which turned out to be quite successful. The fields that we did put the beehives in, we found that there was almost a twofold increase in the actual harvesting. Mr. Josen?
Hi, Josen.
Nice to meet you.
He runs the Wayanad Beekeepers Association and he is our bee consultant.
Oh, wonderful.
And he's done a great job in building up our hives.
What is that in your hand?
This is a smoker. When we go to the beehive, you know that bees are very aggressive. With this one, we make a smoke.
And that subdues the bees, yeah. The other element is you have to have a bee net which covers your face and neck. Gloves is also advisable.
Have you been stung by the bees?
Many times.
Many times.
That is part of beekeeping.
Yeah.
So you cannot avoid it.
And if we are observing beekeeping?
Sometimes, yes.
Oh my God, I hope today is not that
Since
sometime.
you are having all that.
But bees aren't super aggressive as such.
Bees are one of the most effective pollinators in nature. They visit many flowers and carry pollen so that the pollination happens. This is one of the bee colony. This variety is known as Apis cerana indica, Indian bee. There are two varieties. One is closer to the mountain and all in the wild. That is slightly in black color. And this is yellowish whitish color. So this is the one we domesticate and keep as a for the beekeeping.
This is a beehive number 29. So
That's
how many
right.
do you have here?
We have total 35.
35.
Yeah.
Now you can come closer
Yeah.
and you can see the hives.
Actually, we have two chambers.
Yes.
This is called a brood chamber, where
Okay.
their main family, the queen and the eggs, larvae, everything will be
This
same.
portion here.
Okay.
And this is called a honey chamber. They store their honey in this chamber. There will not be any mixing of their family and other things.
So family is separate, work is separate.
Yes, yes. So
Yes, absolutely right.
yeah.
Well, even the bees seem to have kind of.
Yeah.
And this is where all the work.
The queen also
the queen is
stays
there.
Yeah. Only one queen will be there in one hive.
Slightly bigger in size.
It's not harming the bees in any
No,
way.
no,
It's
no.
just
It's
subduing
normal.
them, it's sort of moving them away.
Yeah. See. It will be around 5 to 10,000
Yeah?
bees. Top layer, that is full honey only. They seal it. Now
Oh,
it's
they
already
seal
sealed. And down you can see some kind of glaze. That is also honey. They are not sealed. And the other one, the sealed one down, that is all pupa stage.
So from there bees will emerge.
Correct. In a beehive, there are 3 members.
Okay.
One is queen. Queen is controlling the entire family. Then there are female bees. They are known as worker bees. Collection of pollen, collecting water, cleaning the house and guarding the beehive, because at the entrance there will be guards also standing there to protect from other entries of other insects. Male, they don't have much job. Major job is the mating at the time of when queen becomes matured to mate her. Other job they do is they do fanning inside the beehive. When they bring the nectar, the water content will be 20 to 23%, especially in Kerala because of humid nature and all. So now they have to bring down that water content to around 20 to 21%. Otherwise, the honey will not stay. It will get fermented. So once they put it inside the cell and all, each cell, they start doing this fanning.
So tell me, the bees bring the nectar for them to feed on?
They collect nectar from the flowers, they consume it, it will go to their second stomach. With that enzymes and all, it will go processing and all, it come to the hive, then it will pass on to next bee also, worker bee.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a continuous process 3-4 times, then final product becomes the honey.
Honey. Okay, so that's interesting. So the bees are producing honey, and it's that excess honey which is on the top.
During season.
During season
honey
that is harvested.
Yeah.
If you notice the coffee bushes around the hives here, you'll see that there's a lot more coffee when compared to a field that does not have hives. So wherever we have hives, we find that the pollination has led to a successful increase in coffee quantities here.
Imagine a world without bees. Well, none of this would be possible. If there are no bees, there is no
There
food.
is no food.
A small creature, we associate it only with the sting and with pain.
Absolutely.
And but look at the importance of that one creature, right? All of humanity depends on it.
Depends on.
It was rainy in the morning, now it's bright and sunny.
Yeah.
Bright and sunny as we get ready to taste some honey, hopefully.
With their own wax, they seal it.
Okay, so the honey is inside that.
Inside that one. So before extraction, what we have to do, we have to open it up. Now it is open. So once we place in that extractor, once we do rolling, then this honey comes out from the comb.
Oh, look at that, golden beads of honey. And now that you understood the whole story and the process that goes into it, you have a great appreciation for
Absolutely
it,
right,
right? When you take a swirl of it onto your toast, piece of toast next. You can see the golden beads of the honey
Oh, wow.
emerge from the combs and stick to the side of this container. Pool of honey down there. Wonderful. We don't seem to have a spoon, but the sweetness is there, but there's also a bit of sourness.
It depends on that type of flowers and.
So basically the flowers
Yes.
that the bee consumes the nectar of, that determines the flavor of the honey.
Flavor, yeah. Flavor, colors also. Viscosity also changes according to the climate conditions and all. In Kerala, the water content is almost 21 to 23%.
So that's why the viscosity is not so much.
Yeah, it's less thicker, it's much more runnier
Yeah.
than it is, let's say, in the drier climate here, where it doesn't have that kind of humidity all the time.
Wonderful. Certainly, I mean, it's very interesting because what you say is that every piece of land will have a different flavor.
Yes.
Depending on what grows in there, the flowers that are there, oh, wonderful. But thank you very much.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for educating us, because when we come from the city, we don't know much. We only enjoy the honey, but we don't appreciate enough what goes into producing that honey.
This is 100% organic honey, fresh from the garden.
Fresh from the garden and as organic as it gets. So thank you very much, and also for the work that you do.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to breakfast, but before that, let's meet Rajesh Rajaram, whose family owns Kuppamudi Estate. Namaskara. Hello, Rajesh.
Hi, welcome to Kuppamudi Estate.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you here.
We arrived here yesterday. We just got half the day in the estate, but just what we've taken in thus far, the setting, the various rooms that you have, whether it's these old world rooms to the modern pool villa, and then of course the tree house.
Yes, we keep upgrading every year, the look of the place, to make it interesting for repeat guests,
Fantastic. And for those who are watching the show in Bengaluru and are feeling this bloke looks familiar, well, Rajesh Rajaram also owns that iconic restaurant Ebony, 13th floor, and also Ivory Towers at Barton Centre on MG Road. This is a very different setting as opposed to that one.
Very, very different, yes.
So every once in a while when you get tired of all of that,
Yeah, I come here to unwind, and also for me it's work here as well. It's not just a holiday. I tend to come with friends, so at least I have that break in the evenings. And everything is slow here, right? Everything is growing slowly, so I come in at least once in a couple of months.
Wonderful.
To see what's happening here.
And so when Rajesh invited us, well, I didn't need a second invitation. Let me put it that way. So tell me one thing, Rajesh. I mean, this is about 400 acres.
Yeah.
But out here, there are only 10 rooms.
Yes. It's all about responsible tourism. Our director of operations, Victor Day, so he stayed in the main bungalow. He was looking after this estate, and this was kind of empty. It was like guest rooms. So whenever we had friends coming, they would stay here. And also, this property is very easy access from Bangalore.
Correct.
It's on the way to Calicut. We are on national highways almost. So my father said that, look, it's so close to Bangalore. Why don't we make a homestay? And Victor also was a fantastic host.
Okay.
So we started with just 7 rooms.
Okay.
These rooms which are actually already there. We just renovated them, did up the bathrooms, put in a swimming pool. My dad and I, we had 2 suites attached to the main bungalow. So we started with just 7 rooms, and then we waited for guests to come. Our first guest came after about a month or so. It was most exciting because it was a French couple. They stayed here for 2 weeks. They enjoyed it. So we knew that we were on the right track. After that, we added 2 tree houses. Our assistant manager's bungalow, it's a small cottage. We never had an assistant manager. So we upgraded that. Now it's got 3 bedrooms. Today, that's the pool villa. That's how we started. The whole concept was, you don't want to, bump into other people. Even though it's a 400-acre estate, we wanted to feel like, it's all yours,
Correct. When I stand there on the balcony of my tree house and I survey that beautiful vista down below, I feel like I'm the only person out here at Tranquil.
Yeah. So I think now I'd like to take you for a walk around the plantation, show what we've done. But before that, shall we have some breakfast?
That's a lot of fruit here, Rajesh.
Yep. Some of it is grown in our estate. This is the mangosteen.
Mangosteen grows in India?
Yeah.
I thought this was a fruit that was only limited to the Far East.
It originally started, becoming popular in India as an imported fruit, expensive fruit from Thailand. But it grows very happily in India for the last, so many years. And that's avocado also from our estate. This was another project that started about 10 years ago.
So Kuppamudi Estate is not just coffee.
It's not just coffee. We have spices, and now we've introduced fruits as well.
We can't miss the honey here, the honey that comes from Kuppamudi Estate. So there's watermelon,
Pomelo, oranges, apple, pomegranate, dragon fruit, papaya.
This is just the right start to breakfast in a plantation when you see all these fruits.
This is a must try, okay? Honeycomb straight from our hive.
We watch the bees make this precious honey in the morning.
Just
Now
try
we're
that.
tasting the fruit of their labor. How easy us humans have it, no?
Try that and tell me.
Nisha's like, just shut up and eat the honey. Get to the honey quickly.
Like delicately, don't jump away. No, come on, put the whole thing in your mouth.
Let it burst through here.
So there are parts that you can chew, and there are certain parts that kind of.
Yeah.
I think tasting fruit on a plantation, knowing well that the fruits have come from in and around the area, I think certainly hits differently, no?
A lot of that fruit is ripened on the bush itself.
So typically here breakfast is fruit, juices.
Fresh juice, usually home baked bread. Every day some Indian as well as some little bit of continental bread, eggs on order, and with that potato, sausage, something to accompany the eggs.
Plantation walk that you have in mind, I hope it's a long one.
I hope so.
To work all this down. The papaya is very sweet. This is a perfect start to a day. Good night's rest in the treehouse, listening to the gurgling of the stream. Wake up in the morning to the chirp of the birds. Get a nice walk, breathe in the fresh plantation air, and begin your breakfast with some fruits. Can get better. Well, this is like a preserve and jam buffet here. Huh? Is everything made here?
Everything made here.
So there's the grape jam, the pineapple jam, there's a pear and mulberry, a star fruit jam. There's the marmalade, that is the white grape and plum.
Yes.
The Indian coffee plum.
Well, it's also called cranberry.
There's a guava and a passion fruit jelly. Amazing. I don't know where to begin. This is a
It
grape.
is the grape.
The plum.
Guava jelly. These are the guavas themselves are the ones which have got the pink flesh inside.
Ah, they're the
lends
pink
to the
guava.
yeah.
Star fruit jam.
Pear and mulberry. Pineapple.
So what should we begin with here? Maybe with the grape. You also have the fruit in there. So it's sweet, but it also has that sourness, that kind of, that pulls it down. Let's taste that plum jam now. Oh, what I'm biting into is chunks of the plum. Guava jelly. You've concentrated the flavor of the guava in that.
You boil the guavas and then you have to hang them in a muslin cloth.
It's got a lovely flavor to it.
And this, of course, is the pineapple. Oh. In this, I can taste the fibrous strands of the pineapple. Right? The grapes are almost the sort that just melt away.
Yes.
Whereas this one has a bit of a bite. You need to bite into that pineapple.
Now you have a little bit of toast, otherwise you're going to have too much sweet in your mouth.
I think that's where this brown bread comes in. Mr. Rajaram, this is amazing, man. You know what I like here is the gritty, hefty bite of the wheat. Now let's get back to that marmalade. Just drop the marmalade gently on the toast. You want a marmalade to be sweet, but just when that sweetness begins to get hold of your palate, you want that bitterness from the orange rind to kick in. That to me is a textbook marmalade. And this one is a pomelo and orange marmalade. How wonderful is that? The pear and mulberry. I don't think I've ever walked into a breakfast and tasted 10 fruit preserves, jams, marmalades, and that too all homemade. And now for the sourest of them all, I may have taken a bit too much, the star fruit. I think the butter definitely helps pull the starness down. So good. I just bit into a tiny chunk of coconut there. Very good. I like the flavor of the roasted coconut in this. This is a big breakfast But I'm just kind of building up the energy for your plantation walk.
Kripal, Rajesh, you have to try our mangosteen, yeah?
Oh,
Freshly harvested here. Basically, you remove the pericarp on the top, split this open like this. Oh, that looks glorious here. Oh, that is a lovely fruit right there.
it's very creamy, right? Slightly sour.
Slightly sour, slightly sweet, yeah.
So is this available year round?
No, it's not. So we're towards the end of our harvest right now. So these are the last few fruits that are available on the trees right now.
This is amazing.
It's known as the queen of fruits here.
I just love the manner in which you can bite into the juiciness of those
Absolutely.
plump kernels.
Do you know why it's called the Queen of Fruits?
Why?
So the story goes that Queen Victoria,
Huh.
Queen of England and all the colonies of that era, heard about this fruit and wanted to taste the fruit. And you know, she never came
Okay.
to India or to any of her colonies in the East. Legend says that anybody who can bring this fruit to England for me to taste, I'll give them a large bit of land in London.
Okay.
But she never, of course, ever ate it because it can't travel for months together in a ship. That's the legend between why it's called the Queen of Fruits.
So the
Because of
queen was longing for this fruit.
longing for this fruit because she's heard so much about it.
Wonderful.
So Kripal, you've eaten the mangosteen at the breakfast table, and to show you where that comes from and how it's cultivated, I've got a tree right here that we would like to show you.
Oh, that's a mangosteen there.
Yeah.
But that's light in color, right?
It hasn't ripened as yet. When this starts to turn into a light pinkish color is when we harvest it. From that light pink stage, you have about 10 days time before it turns to a dark purple layer.
So this is quite firm.
Yeah, as it ripens, the pericarp, outer rind, it becomes very pressable.
This on top is actually the flower, and the fruit develops from within the flower.
So there's coffee all around, and
That's
in
right.
between that you've
Yes, we planted the mangosteen.
So it's intercropped. Coffee needs shade. So we thought, why not let the shade come from something which we can harvest as well. 9 years old, started yielding probably last year, and this will grow to a giant tree.
Well, this walk is also helping me wash off the excesses of that jam tasting. This is avocado.
A variety of avocado called Haas.
What did we see in the morning?
Those were a mix of our local varieties. We've concentrated on a particular variety of avocado called Haas, which tends to be very popular, has a better shelf life and travels better than most other avocados. Yeah.
So how old is this now?
This is about 2.5 years old. Typically by the 5th year is when it will start to produce its first fruit.
In a plantation, you really have to have a long-term perspective, right? If you plant something in the earth today, you're seeing it fruit 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line.
Commercial stage is almost 10 years later.
Really?
What he said, the 4th or 5th year, is probably few fruits. After about 10 years, it gets to its prime.
And you don't know that in that journey from that year 1 to planting it to year 10, you don't know what could happen to the plant.
Exactly.
So if something happens, then it's
Back to zero.
Vagaries of nature, disease, pests, floods, any of those factors could come into play.
Just a little anecdote. One of my dad's friends, he was 90 years old and he found some nice fruit. So he wanted to go to a nursery to buy that plant. So my dad told him, he said, you're 90. And this plant is going to fruit after almost 8 to 10 years. So he said, I'm a planter, I plant.
oh, how wonderful is that?
So who harvests, he doesn't care, he wants to plant. He's happy if somebody reaps the harvest. So he's a planter.
Well, that's a wonderful way of putting it. What it means to be a planter.
So if you look at this place from here,
Okay.
so you have coffee, areca nut, mangosteen, avocado, co-living amidst the coffee.
And is that pepper?
Yeah, we were traditionally a big pepper grower, but unfortunately around 2010-11, climate change kind of took its toll on pepper. That's why we were looking for alternate plants.
Brilliant perspective.
So, Kripal, yet another plant that we are planting. This is the nutmeg. So this is a nutmeg tree planted in 2015. Nutmeg is actually two spices in one.
Okay.
You have nutmeg as well as mace. So I want to show you this nutmeg, which is ready for harvesting.
Oh, is that the mace in there?
Yes. Can you just pull this out yourself
Wow.
and open it?
Oh. So this is the nutmeg.
Yeah, so this is the nutmeg. The mace is on the outside, you can see the nut on the inside. So this typically, after you harvest it this way, it's then taken to the production area and dipped in lukewarm water for about 10 minutes. This allows the pericarp to be free. The price of maize, for example, is judged obviously by the quality, but also how intact it is. So you open it this way and then allow for just the nutmeg to come out. Okay, there you go.
So this
That
is
is
the
the
mace.
mace. Look at the color on that. Yeah. Look at the brightness on that. Yeah. The nutmeg in your hand, that is dried between 8 to 12 days sometimes. Yeah. And then what happens, like a maraca, after the 8th or 9th day, you can shake it and you have a nut inside.
That's a nutmeg.
That is the nutmeg. To get 1 kilo of this, you need to pick about 4 kgs of fruit.
I want to tell you an interesting story about nutmeg. It's supposed to be the spice that changed the course of history. In the 1600s, bubonic plague was destroying Europe. The only curative, as per the legend, was nutmeg. It was very expensive.
Okay.
Unlike cloves, which came from all over the Far East, nutmeg came just from 5 islands in Indonesia. They were called the Banda Islands. 4 of those islands were owned by the Dutch, and the island of Run was owned by the British. And the Dutch decided that they wanted a total monopoly. So they killed the British colonists in Run, and before anything could happen, they chopped all the trees down in Run. And they had the complete monopoly over nutmeg in the world. But this didn't go down well with the British. So the British took over a colonial outpost of the Dutch in the Americas, and which was called New Amsterdam. Everybody said, look, stop fighting. Let the Dutch keep Run, and you keep this silly little island in the coast of America. That silly little island, which was called New Amsterdam, is today New York, and the island is Manhattan. So they say this changed the course of history.
So New York was its existence to the nutmeg.
What you see on the left here is part of our new rejuvenation and replanting program. So we have another program which is the rejuvenation of existing plants.
Okay.
And so we are doing a grafting program.
Now this coffee would probably be in the region of about 40-45 years old. While the yields, as you can see on the bush, are quite decent, how do you improve on that yield? You graft high yielding variety of coffee. We cut a wedge. The high yielding variety goes into the existing rootstock plant.
So it doesn't have to develop its own roots.
Yeah, so what you can see, the buds have already opened up.
Yes.
This particular branch here will start to form a new table. This, by the second year, third year, you've already got a new table set.
So which means you're doubling your production
We're
at
trying
some
to
point.
double it, yeah. Instead of having to wait the 7 to 8 years for this plant to rejuvenate itself, we're doing it in 3.
This has been a nice walk to not just work the breakfast down, but also I think build up our appetite for lunch.
So we are the site of our new tank. So we made a conscious decision to build up our water resources so that you can battle a drought. So this is a rainwater harvesting
Oh,
tank.
that's wonderful.
All the rain that comes from up there in that mountain there, it seeps through and fills up this tank. This tank is just short of 2 acres. We also have a tank of almost similar size on the other end of the estate. We have 400 acres. We've divided it into 2. Steep terrain, difficult terrain, all those areas is 200 acres, and the easier terrain is 200 acres. And the other 200 acres is leading up to that mountain over there, around that rock. So that we're going to rewild, give something back to Mother Nature.
Trees.
Every year we are planting about 500 plus trees. Also we have a lot of wildlife,
Okay.
like deer and bison, and typically come into the property around Feb during the summer months. So we are planning to build a little ramp over there so they have easier access to the water.
So the wildlife here gets water to drink, and I think at the end of this slightly long plantation tour, we also get some food to eat.
Yes.
And we've got something exciting lined up for lunch now at the Tranquil here at Kuppamudi Estate. Wow, I didn't expect to be finding this here. Huh? Nice sadhya.
The Kerala Sadhya, we do at least once a week, and especially when we have more people, this is a very traditional part of the Tranquil repertoire. So to start your Sadhya leaf, always have salt. There's also a mango pickle, the spice element of it. Then you have a cucumber mustard pachadi.
Pachadi.
Then you have...
I know what that is. Inji puli.
Inji puli. So Inji puli is very popular. Inji puli is not just puli, which means sa, but it also has jaggery in that. So it has a sweet and sour combination to that. And then you have a pineapple yogurt kalan. And then you have broken banana coated in jaggery and ginger.
That's Chakravarti.
Chakravarti, exactly.
Chakravarti.
And this is broken banana chips.
What is this?
That is yam, fried yam. Jackfruit
Oh, the jackfruit seed.
Kakakuru, yes.
Oh, I love that.
Kootu curry, yam and chickpeas. This is the avial. Erisheri made with yellow pumpkin. So this is the red rice.
Matta.
Yeah, matta rice.
So well, looks like we've got all of Tranquil team here in service.
Fried squid.
Oh, fantastic. So this is a sadhya that I truly like because it's got all the vegetarian dishes and now we're moving on to...
So at Tranquil we have the option of both a vegetarian as well as a non-vegetarian sadhya. Chicken veviche.
This is that part of the meal service where I can't wait to dive in. That parapu and that nehi combination with the matta rice. You can't go wrong with that. All that you need with that is maybe a little bit of a pickle or maybe a little bit of that kuntal on the side. That's all you need. This is the pachadi.
Yes.
The mustard. I think this will also go very well with the rice.
This meal is meant to have the perfect balance of all the different flavors. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, astringent.
It's some sort of a gourd, is it, in this?
White pumpkin.
White pumpkin. Very good. You know, this jackfruit seeds is such a delicacy, but you don't find it too often.
Not easy to get, so.
Slightly sweet, slightly starchy. Rajesh, what has been your favorite thus far?
This inji puli is brilliant. You must try that.
The inji puli.
Yeah.
Ginger, jaggery and red chili, is it? The spice?
Yeah.
And I think what also happens is that, let's say you've tasted a bit of the parapu, a bit of the rice, it is starting to get a little monotonous. And things like the inji puli or that pachadi that I tasted with that mustard, suddenly it kind of livens things up, right? Very good. Now for some of that avial. The avial has to be cooked in coconut oil, no?
That's a must.
This is such a wonderful surprise here. Of course, I knew about the other dishes that I was expecting to find. You know, the Kerala dishes, the European dishes. To find a full-fledged sadhya, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 with the rasam.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the kuntal and the chicken as well. Very nice. Erisheri.
Delicious, very nice.
What is the nuttiness that I taste in that?
Manpair is what we call it.
That goes into that.
Yes.
And that's the flavor that I'm tasting in that.
Possibly.
Well, now for some of that chicken curry.
The chicken curry is an unusual one also.
It's slightly puli also.
Yeah, it's got the fish tamarind in it.
So this I think would also lend itself very well to a nice ayla curry. Some ayla.
Absolutely right.
Some mackerel. That would go beautifully.
Mackerel or even matti.
So I think this is a sort of curry that would do very well with a strongly flavored fish, right? Where
correct.
the fish oils are. And the chicken has soaked it up nicely.
Fried yam.
Yeah.
Can never let go of a good murungakai. Huh? Even the squid, the texture is very good.
Texture is nice.
And also like the little smaller rings, right? Because it also traps that masala within.
It does.
Well, after that nice long sadhya, I had to take a bit of a nap. The sadhya was tasty, no doubt, but the paisam that we had at the end of it all, we had an ada paisam. That was the sort that guaranteed a snooze. So the next program on the agenda, I've taken the opportunity to book for myself a traditional Kerala massage. Namaskaram.
Namaskar.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
A good abhyanga or good massage is when you fall asleep. I fell asleep.
Yeah, sleep.
So while Shashi, our friend here, was giving me the abhyanga treatment, I just fell asleep. And that to me is a mark of a good massage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you then.
Okay,
Thank you. So out here, they don't have a full-fledged spa, but they have this treatment room where they provide Ayurvedic treatments, of course, with prior booking and things like that. Good evening.
Hi Kripal, good evening. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well.
Hey, how's your massage?
You know, for me, a good massage is one where, although I'm a little embarrassed to say this, one where I fall asleep.
And
This
did
was
you?
one of those.
Oh, good, okay.
It was very good.
Happy to hear
I
that.
kind of needed that after that plantation walk.
We've got a chicken bake over here, some sauteed veg and some potato rissoles. Now,
That looks good.
mutton curry and prawn masala. Paneer curry, raw banana, nendram. This is raw papaya with green gram.
Oh, I've never had it in a porial.
Oh,
though.
it's very nice. It's,
Yeah?
but it's I won't say common, but it's a done thing in Kerala.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dal
What
and
fritters are
pumpkin.
I think out here I'm looking forward to every meal and to seeing what you've got in the
Oh, I'm happy
in
to hear
these
that.
chafing dishes.
Somehow in Tranquil, one meal kind of transitions to the next and to the next, So it's like,
It's very tasty.
in the old days, 70s, 80s, when you had the last of the butlers, in the plantation, who were trained probably by British managers and all that. This bake reminds me of the type of bakes that they used to make. Old fashioned and hits the spot.
That raw papaya almost crunches like cabbage,
Most Kerala houses, at least in the rural areas, like it's not the cities, will have a papaya tree growing in the house.
So do you cook as well, Ajay?
Yeah, I do a little. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
a lot of this Mediterranean cuisine, a lot of the Arabic food styles.
How come you didn't cook for me this time?
I will. Since that you mentioned it, now definitely I'm on the thing. We're going to make something tomorrow.
You know the nice thing out here, apart from the food, I've met Ajay and Nisha once,
Yeah.
12 years ago. I just feel like that span of 12 years has just shrunk into like a few weeks. And as we've spent time over the last couple of days,
It doesn't feel like 12 years.
it doesn't feel like 12.
Maybe, a month has passed since your last visit here.
This bake is very tasty.
Very tasty, yes. Very nice addition.
I think I should stop complimenting or you guys and your cooks, and I'm not looking for a bad dish here. And I'm serious about that.
Thank you.
So we got a mutton masala. Yeah, this is a typical Kerala style mutton curry. Goes well with chapati or a Kerala paratha, even better.
Definitely is a punch to that masala.
Got a little spicy kick to it. Yeah.
And good quality goat.
Yeah. what we do get here in Sultan Bathery town is actually a very decent quality of mutton. And most times mutton will go in for a biryani rather than a mutton gravy. But in the Syrian Christian community, we tend to use mutton for stew that goes with an appam.
That's a Sunday lunch after church, right?
Yeah, typically. Yeah.
No?
Biryani, mutton, chatti appams and mutton stew. Yeah.
I usually have a custom of, when I wake up in the morning, standing on the scale. I don't want to do that. At least for like 3 days after I have left. There's truly been an indulgent foodie experience here in Tranquil. I knew food was one part of it, and we were doing so many other things that I had planned to do here. I didn't realize every meal would be a highlight, every dish something to look forward to. I must thank you for inviting me here. Really, Rajesh. Fantastic. So the one constant sound that you will hear is the call of the birds. Orange mini-wet. This is like vivid orange.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So this is what we'll be eating today.
Sugar leaf.
Yes, we're taking it to the kitchen.
Oh,
yeah?
nice. The aroma. I just love that fleshy bite of the clove bean. It's something very new to me. I've never tasted it before. But I think time to get to the main act.
The crab.